When a woman tells you her problems, it's not always about the problem itself. Most men miss this, and by reacting the wrong way, they quietly lose her respect. Men are wired to solve. We see a problem, we want to fix it. But here's the truth. When a woman shares her struggles with you, she's not handing you a puzzle to solve. She's handing you her trust. If you don't know how to handle that moment, you'll create distance instead of closeness. Understanding this difference is the secret to becoming the man she feels deeply connected to. In this video, you'll discover exactly what it means when she shares her problems, why jumping to solutions kills attraction, and how to use Stoic wisdom to respond in a way that makes her feel safe, understood, and drawn to you more than ever. Before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications. This channel is about female psychology, attraction, and Stoic principles, so you can be the man she never forgets. Point 1. Sharing problems is a test of emotional safety. When a woman starts sharing her problems with you, it's rarely because she believes you have the magic answer. Instead, she's testing the space between you. She's unconsciously asking, "Can I be vulnerable here? Can I show my raw emotions without being judged or dismissed?" Most men don't realize this subtle test. They think, "She's venting, so I should give her advice." But here's the irony. Advice is often the last thing she wants. Why? Because advice feels like judgment. It sends the message, "You're doing something wrong." Here's how to fix it. To her, that doesn't feel supportive. It feels dismissive. Imagine you're struggling with a personal issue, and instead of someone truly listening, they just toss you a quick solution like a Band-Aid. You'd feel unseen, unheard, and unimportant. That's exactly how many women feel when men rush into problem-solving mode. So, what does it really mean when she shares her problems? It means she's showing trust. Women don't open up emotionally to just anyone. If she's telling you about her work frustrations, her family conflicts, or her personal insecurities, it means she sees you as someone important in her inner world. Now here's the catch. If you respond with impatience, dismissiveness, or shallow advice, you break that trust. She may not argue about it, but she'll quietly pull back. Over time, this leads to emotional distance, and she may even start seeking that safe space from someone else. From a Stoic perspective, this is where self-mastery comes in. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Apply this here. Her emotional storm is not an attack on you. It's not your burden to fix. It's simply her inner weather. Your role is not to control it, but to remain calm in it. Think of yourself as a lighthouse. The waves can crash, the storm can rage, but the lighthouse doesn't get pulled into the chaos. It simply stands firm, offering light and stability. That's what she's really looking for when she shares her problems. Not a mechanic for her emotions, but a safe harbor. Point 2. The science of listening versus fixing. Modern neuroscience confirms what the Stoics understood centuries ago. Being heard is a fundamental human need. When someone feels genuinely listened to, their brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. This creates feelings of safety, trust, and emotional intimacy. But here's the kicker. When someone feels dismissed, the opposite happens. Their brain registers it as a social rejection. Cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes. And what follows is emotional withdrawal. So let's break it down. When a woman shares her problems and you immediately start offering solutions, her brain doesn't register help, it registers disconnection. She feels like you're not truly present, like you're rushing her, or worse, that you don't respect her ability to figure things out. But when you slow down, lean in, and simply validate her feelings with statements like, "That must have been tough," or "I can see why that frustrated you," her brain responds very differently. Oxytocin rises. She feels safe. and she associates that safety directly with you. From a Stoic lens, this is powerful. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening is not passive. It's an act of strength. It requires patience, self-control, and the ability to hold space without needing to dominate it. Here's a real-life example. Imagine she says, "My boss embarrassed me in front of the whole team today. I'm so sick of that place." The average man replies, "Well, just quit then. Or talk to HR. It's not that complicated." That response kills intimacy. It makes her feel like her emotions are a nuisance. But a man rooted in Stoic calmness responds differently. "That sounds rough. What exactly happened?" Notice the difference? Instead of rushing to fix, he invites her to express more. And in that moment, she doesn't just feel heard, she feels valued. This is the paradox. The less you try to fix, the more she bonds with you. Because she doesn't need a fixer. She needs a partner who can stand steady in her storms. Point 3. Support without losing yourself. Now, let's be clear. Being there for her doesn't mean becoming her emotional sponge. Too many men swing from one extreme to the other. Either they dismiss her problems or they drown in them. Both are unattractive. The Stoic path is balance. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. In relationships, this means you're not responsible for fixing her emotions, nor should you absorb them as your own. Your role is simply to hold space with strength. Think of it like this. She's carrying a heavy emotional backpack. When she shares her problems, she's not asking you to carry it for her. She's asking if she can sit next to you and rest for a while. She just needs to know she's not alone. The mistake men make is either snatching the backpack, trying to fix everything, or letting her load it onto them, becoming her emotional crutch. Both approaches drain the relationship. The Stoic approach is simple. Sit with her, let her rest, and remind her she's strong enough to carry it again. Here's where attraction grows. When she realizes, I can open up to him, and he doesn't get overwhelmed. He doesn't try to control me. He just listens and supports. That experience builds emotional safety, which is the foundation of long-term desire. Over time, she starts associating you with peace. You become her emotional sanctuary. And once a woman links peace and safety to your presence, you stop being just her partner. You become irreplaceable. Point 4. Problems as an invitation to emotional intimacy. When a woman opens up about her struggles, what she's really doing is inviting you into a deeper layer of intimacy. For men, intimacy is often associated with physical closeness. But for women, true intimacy begins long before the bedroom. It starts in the heart and mind. Sharing her problems is her way of saying, "Do you accept me even when I'm not perfect? Even when I'm messy, emotional, or uncertain?" Think about it. She could keep her struggles hidden. She could pretend everything's fine, smile on the surface, and deal with her problems alone. Many women do exactly that with acquaintances, co-workers, or even family. But when she shares her vulnerabilities with you, it's because she wants you to be part of her inner circle. Now, here's where most men mess up. Instead of seeing this as an opportunity to bond, they see it as a burden. They get annoyed, roll their eyes, or rush her through her feelings. This sends the message, "I only want the best parts of you, not the real you." That kills intimacy. The Stoics teach us that the highest form of human connection is not based on pleasure, but on virtue and understanding. Seneca once wrote, "One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood." In relationships, this is magnified. When you understand her pain without judgment, you show her she doesn't need to hide with you. Here's a real example. She says, I feel like I'm not good enough compared to my friends. If you respond with, don't be silly, of course you're good enough, you think you're helping, but you've just dismissed her feelings. But if you say, I get why you feel that way sometimes. It's hard when we compare ourselves, but from where I stand, you're more than enough. Now you've validated her experience while gently reinforcing her worth. That builds intimacy because she feels both understood and cherished. The key is realizing that every time she shares her problems, she's not weakening the relationship, she's strengthening it. She's giving you a chance to step into deeper connection. If you treat these moments with patience and presence, you'll find that the emotional intimacy she craves translates into greater physical intimacy and long-term loyalty. Point 5. How she measures your strength. Here's a truth most men don't realize. When she tells you her problems, she's not only seeking comfort, she's also subconsciously measuring your emotional strength. Think about it. Life will always bring challenges. If you crumble, get irritated, or withdraw when she's emotional, how can she trust you to stand strong when bigger storms hit? Women instinctively test men for resilience, not in a manipulative way, but because deep down they want to know, is he a man I can lean on? Or will he collapse under pressure? When you stay calm while she vents, you pass that test. When you listen instead of overreacting, you pass that test. When you hold your frame instead of getting defensive, you pass that test. Every moment of listening is a silent demonstration of your ability to remain grounded in chaos. The Stoics were masters of this. Epictetus reminded his students, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your reaction to her problems reveals your true character. If you get angry, dismissive, or impatient, you show weakness. If you remain steady, you show strength. Here's an example. She says, my best friend hasn't replied to me all day, and I feel like she's mad at me. Many men would laugh it off, mock her, or ignore her. Wrong move. That shows emotional immaturity. The grounded man says, that's tough. I can see why that would bother you. Want to talk through it? That shows emotional intelligence and strength. You don't get sucked into the drama, but you also don't dismiss it. You remain centered, and she feels safer with you because of it. So when she shares her problems, don't see it as nagging. See it as an opportunity to prove your strength through calm presence. That's what sets you apart from the average man, and that's what makes her trust you more deeply. Point 6. The trap of oversympathy and how Stoics avoid it. Now, here's an important warning. While listening and validation are essential, there's a dangerous trap: oversympathy. Some men, especially when they first learn to listen more, swing too far in the opposite direction. They start agreeing with every complaint, feeding into her negativity, and essentially becoming her emotional mirror. This might feel supportive in the moment, but it actually makes things worse. Why? Because it reinforces her problems instead of giving her perspective. If she's upset about her coworker and you say, yeah, your boss really is a monster. You should quit. You're right. Life's unfair. You're not grounding her. You're amplifying her chaos. The Stoic approach avoids this trap. Stoics practiced sympathia, a sense of shared human understanding, but always balanced with rational perspective. They would acknowledge suffering, but not indulge in it. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. Applied to relationships, this means you acknowledge her feelings without drowning in them. For example, she says, I feel like everyone at work hates me. The oversympathetic man replies, yeah, they're all terrible. You should just quit. That feeds her fear. The Stoic-inspired man replies, I hear you. That sounds overwhelming. But do you think it's possible some of it feels bigger in the moment than it really is? That validates her feelings while gently offering perspective. This balance is powerful. It shows you're strong enough to empathize, but wise enough not to get swept into emotional chaos. Women deeply respect men who can walk this fine line, because it proves you're not controlled by emotions, yet you're not cold either. Point 7. How this builds long-term attraction. At the end of the day, here's the deeper truth. When she tells you her problems, it's not just about emotional release, it's about building long-term attraction. Think of attraction like a fire. Physical chemistry might spark it, but emotional safety is what keeps it burning. Every time she shares her struggles and you respond with calm strength, you're adding wood to that fire. You're showing her, with me, you don't have to pretend. You're safe here. Over time, this creates a feedback loop. The more she feels safe, the more she opens up. The more she opens up, the closer she feels. The closer she feels, the stronger the bond becomes. And once that bond is tied to feelings of peace, safety, and desire, you've created something rare and powerful. The Stoics remind us that love rooted in virtue is unshakable. It's not built on fleeting pleasure, but on character and stability. When you respond to her problems with wisdom instead of weakness, you're not only nurturing her heart, you're also building a foundation for a relationship that lasts. Here's the ultimate shift. Most men see a woman's problems as something to fix or something to avoid. But the wise man, the Stoic man, sees them as doorways to deeper connection. Every time you pass through that doorway with patience, presence, and perspective, you move closer to being the man she admires, trusts, and loves on a level far deeper than attraction alone. When a woman tells you her problems, it's not about fixing, it's about feeling safe. It's about proving your strength without arrogance, your empathy without weakness, and your wisdom without detachment. Through Stoic principles, you learn that true strength is not loud, it's steady. It's in the quiet patience to listen, the self-control to stay grounded, and the perspective to guide without controlling. So the next time she opens up, don't rush, don't fix, don't dismiss, just be present, because in her problems she